Welcome to Crafty Chemist Designs. Today I have a great project for you. But first, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you can see every time I drop a new video. On with the project. Today we are going to do a set of one sheet wonder cards. This is my set that I did. Stampin' Up! Had a craft along for demonstrators where we did this project, and this is the set that I created live during the craft along, and they challenged us to share it with our customers. So if you look in the new catalog, the September-December mini catalog, and you go to page 42, you can see that there's actually a diagram of what we are going to be doing. Here they use the Autumn Toile set, and this is the one sheet wonder where they cut it up, and then these are the cards that they created. I chose the celebratory sips suite to use, and then these are the cards that I created. But today I am going to do a Halloween themed one since it is getting to be Halloween. So I have dropped in the description a link to my blog, which will have this handout for you to be able to use. And you can see how we are going to cut these. When we did it with the Stampin' Up! Craft Along, it was a mystery stamp along. We didn't know anything. All we knew it was going to be a one sheet wonder. So I picked this paper because I thought it would be great for a one sheet wonder, because generally for those you want a paper that's kind of random, all over, non-directional paper. So I chose this. Really, it was not the best choice once I found out what we were actually going to be doing. So I'm going to help you pick out some paper for your one sheet wonder. So we're making 6 cards, and each of the cards, except I think number 5, has a technique. So the first one is ink blending. So it does work better if you have at least some white or very light color where you can ink blend over. So you can see here, I ink blended with some yellow ink on the back of mine. So I would pick something that has a white background. Number 2 is stamping blends. And that what they wanted you to do was color in one of the images on your paper. Well, mine really didn't have anything great to color on, except there were these little teeny dots that were very light that you couldn't see. Actually, there's one right there that I did not color in. I forgot that one right there. So what I did is I just colored in the dots with an orange Stampin' Blend. And then this one was fussy cut, and I think that was probably this one that I did where I fussy cut out, and it wasn't from this paper. So again, I would pick some paper that had some kind of shape or something that you could fussy cut out if you want to do, it how it was intended. But you can see here, I just took another sheet of the celebratory sips that did have these things to cut out, and so I cut that out. 4 was die cutting. So they said to bring a large die cut. I didn't really have any, so I used a circle. So that's fine too. You can use a circle or whatever. And actually, on their samples, they have just random shapes. But some people did like the new tree stamp on that Autumn Toile. And you'll see what I'm going to use for the Halloween set. Like I said, number 5 didn't have a technique, but number 6 was background stamping. So that one really doesn't matter, but I probably wouldn't use black or something that it would be hard to background stamp. Or if you were going to background stamp, you could like emboss it, wet emboss, stamp it with I can't think of the name of the ink, but I want stamp it with the ink and then pour the embossing powder on and then dry it or heat it. But I would say non-black. That would be my recommendation. So my recommendations for paper, to summarize, have something that has a little bit of white background. It doesn't have to be totally white background, but maybe white in it that you could color blend and you'd be able to see it. Something that you could color in with the Stampin' Blends. And then you want a big a die, some kind of die shape, even if it's a circle, but you can use some of the fun shapes that we have. And then I would at least have one of my backgrounds as a lighter background that you can random stamp on. Okay, so that's my hint for the craft along. And like I said, this sheet will be on my blog. Okay, let's get started. Since it is Halloween, I thought that I would use the new Spooky Sweet paper to do these sets of cards. Here's what the paper looks like. This one is really cute. It's got the windows on it. Some have a black cat, a pumpkin. This one's a nice, almost wood-like with orange in the background. This one is the one that I used for the scrapbook layout that I did last week. So this is nice. I used this background for the scrapbook layout, but then I've used these before as scenes for my cards. You can see I made my tunnel card where I used this one right here in the tunnel. Isn't that cute? Oh, and the back of that is this Petunia Pop paper. It does have a subtle pattern on it. This one is cute. It's got the candies on it. And then the background is black with some of the orange kind of striping on it. This one would be nice to use for this technique, this one sheet wonder, because it has a lot of white background. You could color in some things, like I could color in that pig pink or whatever, and then you could fussy cut some of these out. So this would be a great paper. The one thing you have to worry about for this is keeping the direction. This is directional, so you have to keep the paper going up and down. And then the back side is this orange with the black kind of dots on it. And then there's a couple of fun sheets. This one has tags. So there's a bunch of tags that you could cut out, and these go nicely with the treat bags. So actually, if you are interested in my fall scrapbooking crop, I have a free virtual scrapbooking crop on the 27th. I'm actually, as the make and take, sending treat bags with some of these tags. And then the back is a gray overall print. And then these are some fun punch outs. So I may use one or two of these in today's cards. And I definitely used some of these in my scrapbook layout last week. So for my cards this week, I decided to go with this paper that has the windows. I thought there was some nice fussy cutting I could do. There's a nice background that's white that I could ink in. And it actually also already looks like it was inked up, but that was done, previously. Or that's part of the paper. And then the back side is a nice neutral back. So I'm going to use this paper. So then what you need is 3 sheets of 8.5 by 11 cardstock for the card bases. And I'm going to use these because they are colors that are in this suite. So this is pumpkin, this is greeny apple green, and then black. Okay. And again, probably I won't use this for card 6 because of the random stamping. I'll use this in one of the other cards. So what we need to do to make the card bases is just cut these in half at 5.5. So I'll cut all of these at 5.5. You could score it first if you want to. I'm going to score it second because I'm always afraid I'm going to score it the wrong way. I don't know why, but I am afraid of that, so I'm going to do it in 2 sets. So I'm going to take half of these, that 1/2 of it, and then score at 4 1/4. So I cut the 8 1/2 by 11 sheet at 5 1/2 on the long side, on the 11-inch side, and then now I am turning it onto the 8 1/2-inch side and scoring it at 4 1/4. Okay, and let's just make card bases out of these. I'm going to take my bone folder and just score the bases. You could use white card bases if you want, but I really like the colored card bases, especially because some of these have, you know, little decorations on them, so it's nice to have the added drama of the color. Okay, so now we have our card bases ready. So you need 6 card bases. And again, here's the paper I'm going to use. Let's look at the diagram. So the first thing that we are going to do is cut our paper at 4 inches and then at 8 inches vertically. Okay, so since my paper is directional and up and down, I'm going to make sure I'm cutting it this direction. So 4 inches here, and then 4 inches here. Okay. And now we're going to take the first row and cut 2 5 1/4-inch pieces. And then you have left over this little piece. So the little piece goes on card 5. And so I actually have little Post-its. You don't need to do this, but let's do our little Post-its. And I'm going to make card 5. Pick one of the bases, and I will put card 5. Put that paper here. And then these ones are 1 and 2. Okay, here's 1. I'm gonna make this one green base. And then this one is 2. Okay. Well, why don't I put them like this? 1, 2, 5. Okay. Now let's take the second row, and I'm going to do from the top a 3 3/4-inch piece. And then a 4 by 5 1/4. And then a 3 by 4. Okay, so it goes like this. So this one is card 4. So let's do an orange base. And then this one is, this one is card 3. Which, let's do this one, card 3. And then this one is part of card 6. Okay, and I already know I don't want my card 6 to be the black background because of, remember it's random stamping. So let's switch this out with card 5. Okay. And then let's take the last strip and we are going to cut a 1.5 inch piece. A 5.25 inch piece. And then a 5.25 inch piece. So this is card 4. This one is card 5. And then this piece is card 5. Okay. Okay, so let's look at these real quick before we start on our first card. Let's see how these all are. Now, card 3, we need to fussy cut pieces out of it. Okay, so make sure on your card 3 that you have something to fussy cut. So on this one, I could fussy cut this. I could fussy cut this window because it's whole, and then this window is whole. So I could cut those 2 pieces out. Whereas, you know, if you had a piece that looks something like this, right, there's no whole one there. So I might want to switch it out. So with another 4 by 5.25. Like if I had this piece, well, those ones I could do. But if it only had ones that were not whole, then I would want to switch it out. Okay, so make sure about that. Make sure number 3, you have something that you could fussy cut. Or like I did on my sample one, I didn't have anything to fussy cut because they were, you know, they were these small pieces. So have something you could either fussy cut out or have some ephemera that you could use, you know, instead. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then I would say in card 6, make sure you have a light background so that you can random stamp. Okay? And then I think we are ready to put our cards together. Okay, so for this first one, for card number 1, we are going to do ink blending. So since I have this Granny Apple Green paper, I'm going to use Granny Apple Green ink to ink blend. And I don't have Stampin' Up! Granny Apple Green, but I have Close to My Heart Green Apple, which is pretty close. So I'm going to get out some paper background so that I can ink blend on this. Okay, so you need an ink blending brush. Rub it on your ink pad, and then I like to rub off a little bit so that I don't have a big, you see how those get big spots when you push it down? So now I'm just going to kind of rub in, and I want to try and go, maybe I'll try and go around, but I'm going in the places where the bricks aren't already orange. See, it already looks like it's ink blended orange there. So I'm just kind of going in some of the, like see here where there's very little orange. I'm just gonna kind of go around in there. Okay, and I think I've got enough around. I'm happy with that. Doesn't have to be much. I'll remove this. And then let's just attach this to our card base. And then we want to think about decorations on this. The sample has a die cut circle and then a sentiment strip there. So we can maybe do something like this. Let's see what else we could do. if you look at the punch outs, let's see if there's something of the punch outs that I can use. I could potentially use a tree. Let's see how the tree looks. Or maybe one of the cauldrons. Or you can just use a circle die. Yeah, I mean, I think that you lose something there with the tree, so let's just try the cauldron, and then if not, we'll do a circle. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do a circle with the sentiment. Okay, I want to put a circle on this. Let's see what size. I'm thinking this size. Or is that too big? Let's see about this size. Now this one. Let's do this one. Okay. And I think I might ink blend on this a little bit to have it stand out a little bit. I could have cut this out of white. I mean orange or something, but let's ink blend a little bit. This is Timid Tiger, one of the new Stampin' Up! Colors. Okay. And that's just, I'm going to kind of do it right in the center. Just a little bit. There we go. Just to give a little hint of the orange, so it's not just stark white. Okay. And I'm going to stamp, I think, the Happy Halloween. Okay, let's stamp it on here. And then we will cut it out. And I'm just going to do that in black. This is the first time I've used this stamp, so let's hope it stamps okay. Okay, oh, that's not too bad. And then we will cut this out, and I'll probably flag the end of it. There we go. Let's see how big this is though before we... Okay, I'm gonna need to, I think, cut this down a little bit. It's going to be too long. trim the bottom just ever so slightly so it's even. Okay. Okay, now I don't like the white on the white. So I definitely think I need to cut that out of orange, some pumpkin. We will save this for maybe another one of the pieces. So this is just the part where you can play. If you want, you don't have to even put something like a circle behind. You could just put the Happy Halloween. Okay, let's see if I like this better. Okay, yeah, I do like that better. Okay. I think I'm going to pop this up so that it's standing up a little bit. Okay, so I have some Stampin' Dimensionals. That I'm going to use. First, let's pop up the circle. Okay, I'm going to put it right there. And now this one, I'm only going to pop up this end because the other part is going to lay right on top. So I will add a little bit of adhesive to that side so that it will stick. And then I think I'm going to add a couple of these bats. What do you think? Or maybe I could use this little, let's see how this little banner goes. No, I like the bat better. Okay. Let's just adhere this down. I'm not going to pop him up because I'm putting him on this that's already popped up. And then, what do we think about some of the they're not dots, they are stars, but these are called Shimmer Star foam stickers. So let's put the black. There we go. Okay, we're done with card 1. And the technique on this one was ink blending in the background. And I really think that added a little bit something extra. Okay, let's look at card 2. Card 2 is Stampin' Blends. So let's look at card 2. Here's card 2. And then for card 2, you're supposed to color something in with a Stampin' Blend. I think, let's see if, the only green I have is Garden Green. Let's see how this looks. I was thinking maybe like in here. making this green, going around the moon. Anyway, because I thought that that skull looked like it could use some toxic green. But find something on your card or on your paper that you could color in. I think maybe I'll just color it all. I don't think you'll be able to see that. Okay, and then maybe the top of this one too. And then maybe the frame here. Again, it's just to add a little bit of something, just to remind us that we can add things to the paper if we want, if we don't like the color or if we want to add color. I think I'm going to do this one too. Okay, maybe I'll do the bottom down here where the cat's sitting on. Now, if you had something that had like one shape that you could color in all over the random background, that would be fine. Like I could have potentially, say, colored in, made the lemons more orangey or something, you know, then I would have just colored these three. Or you could just, like I'm doing, just pick a part of the design and color that. Okay, I'm trying to do the top and the, like, kind of the windowsill and the top of the window. And then I think I'll do it up here too, even though you can't see the top, because I want to kind of be consistent and have 3 different areas. Because remember, things in groups of 3 are nice to the eye. Okay, there we go. I colored this one, so I'm wondering if I should color that one. Let's color this one too. Because actually on this card, it looks like they have us putting some, an oval near the top. So it might totally cover that up. And then you could do more than one color too. If I wanted to add some orange, I think I could. I mean, these cats here are black, but say it was an open colored cat, I could have maybe colored them in to match my cat's color if I had a cat. Okay, there we go. So technique for the second card is coloring in with some Stampin' Blends. Okay, so let's add that's why I kind of wanted it on the green background, even though it's not exactly the same green, because I colored it with garden green, but I don't have granny apple green. Okay, there we go. And then, like I said, they have an oval with a sentiment there. So let's see if I have an oval here already cut. I found it in my oval stash. Oh, that's too big though. That one, I find that one too big. I want one like this size. Okay, so let's cut this. And it doesn't have to be an oval. You could, if you had a shape or something. Like I could put, you know, this thing, or I could put the house. I think I'm going to use a house on a different one. But I find that my paper is a little bit busy. So I don't really want to put something on that. So, okay, so I'm going to put this here, and I might stamp right on that. In the picture, they've got a background and then the sentiment on there. I think I might stamp right on there and then add a one of the punch outs. This is the one that I did for in the craft along, is I just put like a little strip of paper, stamped a sentiment, and then cut out a little thing from, again, from a different sheet of paper. So actually, you know, I might put this one here though, because up here I feel like it covers too much. This one, I don't know, I like it there. Let's see. Happy Halloween probably would fit. Yeah, Happy Halloween fits right on that. So let's do that. And then maybe on this one I could edge it in the orange. Okay, again, I'm just going to use black. And you could have used a circle on here if you wanted to. I used the oval, but let's put this back. Okay, and you may or may not be able to tell, but my L's, it's probably fine. I am a perfectionist, so I'm just going to kind of dot this a little bit to fill in. You don't want to do too much because then you have a chance of kind of going outside. Okay, that's fine. Let's get this back. Let's see if I can go around the edges again with orange. I'm going to try not to go over where I stamped because that might still be a little bit wet. And it's okay if it is a little bit rustic or it looks different all the way around, because the background looks like that, right? There, so give it a little bit of an orange tint to it. Okay. Again, that is Timid Tiger, even though pumpkin is the color in this layout, or in this set. Okay, let's pop this up. Put it here. That way you can see the black cats, and I've got people that I want to send a card that you can see cats in it. Okay, let's see if there's something that we could put on there. There's no black cats, but how about this little guy? I don't know. No, too big. How about a couple of these? Actually, you know what? I just think I like it this way. I could maybe put a... But see, I don't think the color on that looks good. I think I'm going to leave it and just put the gems. I think it's fine how it is. Let's do some gems. Let's see how the... No, I don't like the purple on there. I was going to say, let's see if the purple makes it stand out. And these are, and if you can tell really with the purple, this is actually Petunia Pop, that they're sparkly. Okay, card number 2, and it is the Stampin' Blends. Okay, that's the technique. Okay, card 3. Card 3 is Fussy Cut, and then optional embossing folder. Okay, so let's see, let's cut out, I'm going to cut out these 2 pieces here, and then I think I'm going to use this birchwood. I got orange on there from something as my embossing folder. This is a 3D embossing folder to do the background. And so it obviously depends on what paper that you have. Like it's having you basically just do the front. You only really need to do the front. Let me see if it's the way that I want it to be. I think I want it to be this way with the Stampin' Up side up. And then I'm going to put it until the fold is right along that black line. And then that's where I'm going to stop. Okay, with 3D embossing folders, you use the base, and then you use the number 4 plate. And then this is what the number 4 plate looks like. Okay, and then this will go through very smoothly. The problem is we want to kind of stop. Let's see where it stopped. It's hard to see on the, with the 4 over it. So did we? What I'm going to do, I'm going to put the black line lined up with the black line. There we go. Let's try it again. And then I'll stop when I hit the black line. Okay. I prefer the clear covers, but okay. Oh, then look how pretty that is. So it gives a little bit of texture. Since this is potentially could be pretty, not have a lot of decorations on it because, like I said, I'm only going to cut these out. So I'm just going to go quickly around this, and then I'll go nice. But if you, again, if your paper doesn't have something that you could fussy cut out like this, or if it has one big thing you could cut out, like I think on that autumn toile, they cut out a big tree. You could do that. But if you don't have anything you cut out, like I didn't, I just fussy cut out a drink from one of the other papers that had the big, drinks on them, and that was perfectly fine too. And if you end up fussy cutting something from a different paper, then you could use this. I could have used this 4 by 5 1/4 inch piece as the background paper. Whereas here I did the embossing so that, because it's not going to have any background paper, so that gives it a little bit of something. Otherwise it would have just been plain black paper. And I'll probably put a circle with a sentiment on this one too. Again, all of this is just use your imagination, kind of just a couple different techniques that we don't do a lot. Like I don't remember to fussy cut out shapes. The only time I do that usually is if they have a punch out like that, or if like on the celebratory sips, they have a whole sheet of these drinks that, I mean, basically were meant to be cut out, right? They have all of these drinks. So that's really the only time I fussy cut out things. Not just, I wouldn't have thought to fussy cut out something like this background paper. But I think these windows are perfect for cutting out. And like I said, on this paper, I happen to have 2 whole windows, but if there were 3, I could have maybe done that. But I think I'm going to cut out a circle, and maybe I'll use that circle that I already cut out, and stamp the sentiment on it, and then put these kind of going around it. We'll see how that looks. And when you're fussy cutting, I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm not the best fussy cutter, but what you want to do is keep your scissors pretty much still and move the paper. See how I'm moving the paper around? And not the scissors. Now this one I am because it's just straight, but when I go to someplace like this, then I turn the paper. To cut the pieces out. And then you can see at the very beginning, I kind of did a rough cut around it because it's really hard to fussy cut when this is, like say this was on a piece of 12 by 12. Like you don't keep it on the 12 by 12 paper and try and fussy cut it out of the 12 by 12 because that's really hard to cut out. Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking about doing something like that. And then let's see if I can find that circle that I already had. Yeah. Oh, and actually this kind of looks like a moon, doesn't it? So let's stamp something on here. Let's see what the sentiments are. How about, I think a spooky? Well, let's see if No Tricks, All Treats would fit on here. No Tricks, All Treats, and then, see, I don't think that, Let's do the spooky. We can put spooky there. Okay. This is the first time I use this stamp, so hopefully that'll be good. And I'm going to put it around here. There we go. Nice. Love that. And again, that was the circle that I ink blended previously. So if you use the one that you originally did, just cut out another circle and stamp on it. Or you could do a shape. That would be fine too. So I think I'm going to put this here and then this like this. What do you think? I like that. And I'm trying to decide if I want to, I'll pop this up too. I was going to pop that up or just the windows, but okay. Put it right there. And I kind of love that. I don't know, can you see it? It kind of almost looks like clouds now in there. It's a wood grain, but I think that looks like a cloudy black sky. Okay, now these ones, I'm going to put a couple dimensionals just on the one side, and again, put adhesive on the other side where it's going to overlap on the spooky. Let's see where that's going to be. Yeah, so I'll put some like right here, just to keep it attached to that spooky. Let's see. I might put a dimensional down there too, to hold that one up. Okay. And then on this one, I'm just going to put dimensionals on the bottom. And then put adhesive on the top. So that it sticks. This would also be a time when you could color in these, use the Stampin' Blends to color that in. I could have done that. But this is a time when I'm going to use, I think, the purple, the Petunia Pop. I love this card. This is the one that I was most concerned about because I thought it might look too plain. But I don't think this looks plain at all, especially with that embossing folder. The embossing folder makes that one. If it didn't have the embossing folder, I probably would have colored in the windows. But I think it looks good like that. Okay, so that's card 3. The technique is fussy cutting out part of the paper and then optional the embossing folder. Okay, let's see. Card number 4 is here, is die cutting. Okay, so let's look at card number 4. So you've got these 2 papers. I was thinking about doing this and I think I'm going to, this is where you can get out that big die cut that you have. Like it could be a big oval, or it could be, you know, a frame. It could be something. But I was thinking of using the houses there. And then one of these was what you could fussy cut out of. So, I mean, I could fussy cut this out of here and then put this on the back, but I don't think you'd be able to see it. So I'm going to put this here, and then it has the fussy cut part could be, not the fussy cut, the die cutting part is this big oval that they have, and then using the smaller paper in the middle. So using it like this, and then putting the die cut, and then cutting out a couple strips, which maybe I'll do, let's say, I could do this and then ink blend over it, or I could just cut out some black paper or something. So let's fussy cut this out. I was going to fussy cut this out of black. Okay, I've had a little think about this, and what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to use the bigger piece here. I'm going to cut this out, and then instead of the 2 strips, which have come from outside of the paper that we had, like in the sample. Let me see if I can show you the catalog again. In the catalog, they die cut out of one of the papers, and then they use a smaller paper as a background, and then these 2 bronze pieces are separate paper. It's comes from the new bronze paper. But I think I'm going to, instead of doing those, do the tree. Won't that be cute? And then I think I'm going to cut this out of the Granny Apple Green. What do you think? I could make it the Poppy Parade, but I think this is going to be cute. Okay, that's what I think I'm going to do. Okay. Put the little house there, and then cover it. Cut this out. This is so cute. I'm going to pop these pieces out onto here. Okay. And then I love our dies have the little holes that you can, oh my gosh, look at that. And I know I have it in this green color for Halloween, but I think that would be a great gingerbread house for Christmas, or a dollhouse for a little kid. Wouldn't that make cute dollhouses? And then, I don't know, do you think, I'm going to cut a couple of those out and see if it looks good on the card. I don't know if it's going to look good on the card. Again, I'm winging all of this, so a lot of this is a trial and error. Okay, let's see, I've got some paper strips. Let's see if it's tall enough. Oh yeah, it is. I'm doing it out of white. I might do one more just because I may want it to go all the way across. I don't know. But while I have this out, I'm going to die cut the second one. And then again, I can maybe use it on a different card if I don't like it. We're working on card 4 right now. We've got 2 more to go after this. If you want to do this and follow along, you could just do the base pieces, you know, cut out the the one sheet wonder part, do the card base, and then worry about decorating it later, or, you know, have some time to think, whatever. I did follow along during the craft along with Stampin' Up because I wanted to get them done so that I could share it with you, so I'd have some samples. I could put one of those little people in front of this, or one of the little characters. Okay, so let's kind of put this together. So remember, the idea for card 4 is die cutting, to get a big die. Like in this one, they have a big oval in the catalog. I don't know if you can really tell in the catalog, but which one is it here? Oh, it's this one. You see how they use that big tree and they cut that paper out? That's the idea. But I'm using this die cut and then this tree. Okay, and then we're just kind of making a little scene. Oh, I'm out here. Okay, I've got a new roll of adhesive. Okay, put this down, and then I'm going to put this straight on here and then probably pop up the house. Okay. Okay. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to pop this up. And for that, I will try the mini dimensionals. Let's see, I have some, here we go, some mini dimensionals, because some of these areas are smaller. Okay, with the mini dimensionals. Just taking the backing off of here. Okay, let's see, that's all of them. There we go, I like it popped up. What do we think? Do we want to... I don't think I'm going to put these. If I had maybe had it go up higher, I could have. But I'm not going to use these. But I do think I'm going to put a bat up here. What do we think? I'll pop him up with mini dimensionals. Okay. And then, let's see, do we want a little... Is that those pumpkins too big? Just put this little guy, let's see. I think I might put this little guy here. Okay, let's pop him up. Let me make sure where he's going to be. So So we ought to just put the dimensionals on this side. Okay, now I'm trying to think about where I want to put a sentiment. Let me add a little bit of adhesive here to have it attach onto there a little bit. Okay, so I think I might put a sentiment there. And I think that the spooky might fit. Yeah, I think the spooky fits nice. And I'm going to stamp it directly onto the paper, which, you know, we have to make sure we do a good job because I don't want to have to take all of that off. But I'm liking this. So remember, the technique for this card was a big die. There we go. Oh, that's perfect. Okay, and I did do a die. It's not a big die, but I also have that tree in the background. But the sample also added two rectangle strips down on the die. Okay, so here's my sort of interpretation of this one. The oval was kind of my haunted house, and then the two strips were this. Okay, and then they used the smaller piece as their background, and they die cut out of the larger piece. So I still have this one that I didn't use. I could use it on a different card. Okay, so this is card 4. Card 5 is this. Okay, and this one doesn't have a special sort of technique. So let's just whip this one right out. So you take the bigger piece. And put it down on the card. And then do the other side and flag the bottoms. I'll show you the one that I did with my celebratory sips. Let's see. Oh, where's that card? Here it is. Okay. So on mine, I did the two things, flag the bottom, and then they have a circle here that you can put the sentiment. I fussy cut out the Bloody Mary and then put congratulations across. Okay, so let's die cut flag the bottoms of these, and I'm putting them together so that they end up being the same. So I'm cutting them at the same time so they are exactly the same. Okay, there we go. And again, on this one, I put the first one down straight onto the card, and then this one, the second one, I popped up, which I think I'll do that again. So, but you know what I'm going to do is these ones you really can see a little bit. It's hard to distinguish, so let's add something. And since we have the green out, let's use the green to ink blend the edges a little bit. I could do the orange. Maybe I should do the orange. That way we don't introduce a lot more colors. The reason I didn't think of this at first is because there is already orange in there, but if I make it kind of dark enough, I might be able to help. There you go. And this is just so that you can see I don't want it to blend into the background too much, right? And this is going to depend on what the backs of your papers look like. Because on mine, you see mine, they were the dark, it was a dark. This is the back side of this paper, and it was dark, so I didn't have to worry about it blending into the background. Whereas here, it kind of blends into the background. So I'm just going to do this just to help it out a little bit so it doesn't blend in. Again, it's going to vary depending on your paper. I always ink blend the edges on another piece of paper like this because you always want to start from off the paper and work your way on. That way you don't get any harsh lines. You get any harsh dots or lines on the actual, your mat here. Okay. Now I think that, see, now that stands out a little bit better. Okay, so let's put this one straight down. Onto the card base. Okay, that's good right there. Then I'm going to pop this one up. That's mini. These are all minis. Okay, this one's, oh, here we go. Just using the regular Stampin' Dimensionals. I pulled a cover off of one of those. Let's try and put it back on. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's put this here. And then they used a circle. We could use a circle, but let's see if we want to put, how will it look if I put this little guy here? That's cute. Okay, I'm going to put that there. That's a great size for that. So I'm just going to put a couple dimensionals on here. Let's see. And then I'd adhere this on here. Yeah, I like that a lot. Now, we want some sentiment. Let's see what sentiments are here. Don't worry, eat sweets. The don't worry, eat sweets, I think is too... It's too long. I think we'll go with the spooky again. Okay, I have these white pieces already cut out. These are cut out from the More Messages die, and I think this spooky will fit right on there. Yeah, that'll be perfect. This spooky's getting a lot of use, isn't it? It's a good size. I also like it because you want an inside sentiment, and I like to put like Happy Halloween or whatever inside. So I like having some other, you know, non-Happy Halloween sentiment in there. so that I could stamp Happy Halloween on the inside. And then, speaking of that, all of these cards, I'm going to obviously put a piece of white in there to be able to stamp on. Okay. Put one dimensional in the end. There we go, spooky. I don't think I'm going to add the sparkles, but you could, but I think there's enough going on in the background for that. So spooky. Okay, this is card 5. And there was no technique with that one. Now number 6 is here. And this is the one where there is background stamping. Okay, so let's see what there is that we could do some background stamping with. Well, there is, let's turn this around so you can see. There's this, we could do that, or we could do the bats. I think I'm going to do the bats because look, you can see a bat there. So let's do the bats. I want to talk about the background stamping a little bit. On my card, that's this one. This is the one I did. I did random strawberries, you know, so I did it going in all directions. You can see this is upside down, that's right side up, this is sideways. On this one, since it's the bats are flying, I think I'm going to do them just all this way. And then I'm probably going to use this as the centerpiece. So what's only going to show is around the edges. So you can kind of keep that in mind as you're stamping that if you want. So I'm going to use black since they're bats. And really I'm going to stamp here in the middle at first, just because this is the first time I've used this one, and it's nice to have a test. Okay, yeah, not bad. Okay. So I am going to kind of, this is where you might want your mat, because I am going to go over the edge. Even though I'm having these not be random up and down, I also don't want them to be all in a straight line. You know what I mean? So you want to kind of stagger where these are. Like I have some going off, some not. I do one more right here. Okay. You won't be able to see it, but let's see if I put this here. Again, a lot of these you won't be able to see probably, but kind of fills it in a little bit. Okay. Probably can do something right there. Well, the problem is that, let's put this here because I'm not going to use that side. There. Okay. Let's see, maybe something here. Okay. That's pretty good random stamping in the background. And I think the bats are going to be really, really cute. Let's put him away. Them, I guess. Okay, so let's look at the thing again. They've got this piece here, and then a circle with a sentiment. So let's put this down. This is the last card, guys. We're almost here. I'm going to center this. You can see how nice that looks with the random stamping in the background. Okay, now let's go back to here. We haven't done these. Let's do a potion, and then the cauldron. What do you think? Potion and the cauldron? And then we got this little cauldron thing. And then we could stamp something up there. Okay, so I'm going to put this here and then pop that up. Can we stamp directly on there? How about no tricks, all treats? Let's see, will that fit there? Yeah, I think we could do that. No tricks, all treats. I think that would be good. You could have stamped that on there before you attached it. I didn't think I was going to stamp right on there, but okay, let's see. There we go, no tricks, all treats. There we go. And then we'll just add those little things on there. Okay, I'm going to put this directly onto the card base. And then pop this up. It may be a little bit difficult for that part. We'll use the mini dimensionals and then cut it. I think if we take a mini and cut it in half, it might be okay. Okay, I think that worked pretty good. Take the backing off of this one. Okay. Oh, that's going to look so cute. And then this one, I'm just going to put adhesive down. There we go. Okay, what do we think? No tricks, all treats. Do we need? I think that's pretty good. Let's see how the these look on here. And you can mix them up too. Let's put a black one, maybe down here. go. And we could add a couple more. I don't know if we need it. I don't like that there. That's let's see what if we think this is better here. Okay, actually, with that, they almost look like ants. Okay, here's card number 6. And guys, we're done. Let's see how we did. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. What are we thinking about these? Okay, the techniques. This one had the ink blending in the background. This one we colored in some of the images on our paper. This one we cut out pieces from our paper and used a embossing folder. This one was using a big die cut, which I did here. This one really had no technique, but just flagging the ends of that. And then this one had the random stamping in the background. So there's your 6 cards. If you create 6 cards using this One Sheet Wonder with any paper suites, again, this was the Halloween set, but I did, you know, similar cards with the celebratory sips. Yeah. So I mean, you can see it was the same One Sheet Wonder guide, but using a different paper suite. So if you do this, please post in the group. The Crafty Chemist presents Stampin' Up, so we can see what you create. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the project. You can purchase any of the items discussed in the video at my website, thecraftychemist.stampinup.net. I have a Facebook business page, Crafty Chemist Designs, where I go live and do demos every Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time. I also have a Facebook VIP group called The Crafty Chemist Presents Stampin' Up, where you can post your work, ask questions, and have a good time. You can also find me on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Crafty Chemist Designs. And my blog is periodicallycrafty.blogspot.com.